Jorix Nakahara, and this is MTE 513 Evaluation of Technology Programs. My courtesy to our MTE 513 instructor, Ma'am Jovenil Bontilaw. Ma'am, my classmates in MTE 513, good day. To begin with, let us have a pre-test, or shall we say, a sort of review. Question number 1. It refers to physical entities, a representational in nature, which is used to facilitate learning process. A. Curriculum materials. B. Curriculum supplies. C. Curriculum guide. And D. Training regulation. Write your answer on the chat box. Question number 2. Which of the following is an example of a curriculum materials? A. Paper. B. Pen and pencil. C. Ink and printer. Or D. Textbook. Write your answer on the chat box. Question number 3. It refers to a lesson or an academic content that is taught in a school or in a specific program or a course. A. Curriculum. B. Assessment. C. Course outline. Or D. Instruction. Write your answer on the chat box. Thank you for your cooperation. You did great! Our lesson for today is all about the need for curriculum material assessment. Are you now ready? To begin with, let us understand the three educational concepts: the curriculum, the instruction, and the assessment.
First of all, we have our students. We also have our vested parties. Who are they? They are the community, which involves the parent who nurture the students, aside from the teacher. We also have the government, who supports through policies, regulations, laws, scholarship programs for the students. We also have the industry, where we align our programs, our courses, our curriculum that fits for the students, prepares the students as they involve themselves during their work immersion. We also have the school, where we teachers are part of it in nurturing, giving the students the necessary knowledge and skills. These are all the vested parties, which makes the curriculum. And in a curriculum, we think of our students to be effective, successful, and good contributor of the society. And in order for our students to be effective, successful, and good contributor, we equip them with what? With the specialized skills. That's why we have TLE, TBE, TBL, and different specializations or majors, because they need the necessary skills to prepare them in the world of work. We also have the critical thinking skills, which they will be needed for reasoning purposes. Mathematical skills, the writing skills, reading skills, communication skills, values formation, sciences, and arts. These are what we teach. These are what we think the students need. This is what makes the curriculum. However, these are all just layout. Everything must be need to be put in the right place, in the right order, to be able to create a good curriculum. However, all of these layouts, curriculum, these are intangible or intangible rather, simply means we need to have something tangible, because those are the thoughts and ideas which forms a curriculum. So in order for us to have something tangible, this is where we need curriculum materials. This is where the curriculum materials appears or occurs. That is why it is very important for us to know what is a curriculum materials and how to assess a particular curriculum materials. What are curriculum materials? Anybody? We think of leaflets, books, films, CDs. These are our common thinking when we talk about curriculum materials. These are the common examples. However, curriculum materials are physical entities, representational in nature, used to facilitate learning process. So it means a curriculum material is something that is tangible, not just a representation of itself, but it has other purpose other than its definition. And the common example is the book. Book is not just a physical entity. It is not just a cover or a page composed of papers, but what makes it a curriculum material is the content within it. Just like history books, the cover and the pages does not make it a curriculum material. But what makes it a curriculum material is the content within it, wherein we can go back histories, trace what happens. Another is books are complete instruction. It contains informations, evaluations, and assessment. Book is a good example of curriculum materials because it is a complete package. Simply means it is a general example when you talk about curriculum materials. So why we need for a curriculum material assessment? So why do we need to assess a material or a particular curriculum material? So here's the reason why. It finds out whether curriculum materials are relevant, useful, and effective. As we assess a particular materials, in the end, we will be able to identify whether these materials is relevant to the topic, useful, or effective when we use it in the teaching and learning process. Another reason is it determines whether the curriculum materials helps the teacher foster students' learning and understanding. As we evaluate a particular curriculum materials, it enables us to determine whether these particular materials help us teacher in nurturing the students' learning and helping our students achieve a particular learning competencies or hit a particular competencies or understand a particular lesson. This helps us in fostering our students in learning and understanding. Another is it helps forming values, judgment, educational status, or achievement of students. As we assess a particular curriculum materials, it helps us to give a just judgment. Simply means it helps us to attain a 100% or 98% authenticity in judging our students' outputs, performance, and other related things. It helps us form a particular judgment values as to how our students or how well our students perform as they achieve a particular competencies or lesson in our class. So that is another reason why we need to assess particular curriculum material. Another reason is it allows us to modify a material to be best or to best activate individual students' learning style. It simply means as we assess a particular materials after the students use it, it enables us to modify it to give the best and to share the best for our students. It enables us to develop it more interesting, attractive to our students. Another reason is It adds important structure to the lesson planning and the delivery of instruction. If we assess our particular curriculum materials, it gives us an structure as well as it helps us in arranging, managing our lesson as well as to have a good delivery of instruction. Another is that it assists us teacher in an important professional duty, which is the differentiation of instruction. As we give instructions to their students with the help of our curriculum materials, if it is being assessed in a good way, it enables us to design a particular activities that fits students' learning, fits the lesson, as well as the objectives that enables us to design an activities that fits the needs of the different students, that caters the abilities of the different students. This is what we call differentiation of instruction. So how to assess a particular curriculum materials? There are lots of ways in assessing curriculum materials. It varies in different schools as well as different institutions. So I will just give here an example of what we use in assessing the curriculum materials in trade school. So as we see here, we have here a table and it says at the top is the curriculum materials, which is followed by a particular questions. Then on the other side, we have the yes or a no or cannot be determined. In the first part, is the curriculum materials connected or relevant to the MELP? MELP means most essential learning competencies, so we can also substitute topics or lesson to it. So as we assess a particular curriculum materials, we need to consider whether it is connected to the lesson objectives or the competency. If it is yes, then it is good. If it is not, you are going to revise it or improve it. Another is that if we assess a curriculum materials, we need to see if it is appropriate to grade level of learners' characteristics in terms of language and activities. Is that materials fits the student's level of knowledge, level of interest, and capabilities? If yes, then that is good. And if not, you need to improve it or revise it. Another is that curriculum materials easy to use or user-friendly? Because there are materials that is difficult to use for some but easy for others. For example, in our new normal settings, in our new curriculum materials, we tend to use the technologies which is good to us who are in line in the technology, but those who belong to the golden age teacher or the teacher who are not into technology, they will find it difficult, as well as with our students who don't have exposure to it. That's why we need to consider the easy to use of that particular materials. So is it user friendly? Another is, does this material came from a credible source? So you need to be sure that that particular materials came from a particular source which is credible, since it is a material that you will be using in teaching. So you need to secure or see to it that this material is authentic and came from a particular credible author or credible creator of a particular material. Another is that we need to consider that this particular material is free from copyright and plagiarism issues. We cannot reproduce materials or we cannot have the production of materials if it is not free from copyright or plagiarism issues, because there will be a legal problem. So we need to consider the original author if that material is not originally made by us. We need to cite the sources, we need to recognize the original sources, and we need to ask permission to the original sources if we will be using that particular material. Another is that, is this material culture and gender fair? So that is one thing or big thing that we need to consider. Our materials must be gender sensitive rather, and must be a culture fair also. Another is that Curriculum materials must reflect adequate for motivation, explanation, application, reinforcement, and enrichment. That is just an example of how we will assess particular materials. It varies in different schools. We also have national standards in assessing the materials. So in DepEd, in developing our self-learning modules, if you are assigned by the division or region, we are sent with the guidelines in how to assess or to develop such material. If you are a content creator, so you need to create a material that is in accordance with the guidelines. And after that, that will be sent to the validator as well as the evaluator or the editor assigned for the particular field or specialized field. And note, in assessing curriculum materials, the school has its own committee who are well trained, oriented, and doing so. So as teachers, we can assess our own materials if we develop a particular materials, but if we have a committee in our school, we can give our materials to them for them to assess if we develop a particular materials, because there is a greater standards when it comes to assessing materials if we lend it to the committee who is assigned in assessing curriculum materials in our schools or in our divisions. So that's it. I hope you learned. Thank you so much.
Our discussion has ended, and I will leave you with a quote from Phil Collins. In learning, we teach, and in teaching, we learn. Have a nice day. This has been your reporter, Jorix Nakahara, signing off.